I'm very happy to have Josh Vouris joining us. Now, this is a special one for me because I've been one of Josh's counterparts for years now, and he's sort of always been working in specifically within gaming, sports, and gambling, and has sort of just started to create his own product and starting to bring it to market as well. And I think he has some pretty incredible insights when it comes specifically to magic moments and how to create magic moments for people in your experience. So to kick things off, and just to give a quick overview of what this is to everybody else, or to Paulina, who's new here as well, the way we run this is usually like a live conversation where we record it so that we can share it with the other folks in the community who weren't able to make it. So we'll just have a sort of open conversation. I've got a bunch of questions for Josh, and if anybody else has any questions, please feel free to jump in when you can. So Joshua, why don't we start with you just giving us a quick intro as to what you're building with TrackPass?
Yeah, not a problem. I mean, thanks for having me. Sort of quick background there. I'm the founder of TrackPass, which is essentially a digital race day companion designed to help new fans learn horse racing naturally through simple challenges, storytelling, and rewards. Before this, I worked in sports betting and racing technology. And one of the things I've learned is that young people don't become fans because they're given information. They become fans because they're given experiences. And I mean, if you look essentially at the broader youth culture, around over 70% of like Gen Z say they prefer experiences where they learn by doing. And most of the sports they follow have extremely strong digital onboarding processes. So like football through FIFA, and then F1 through Drive to Survive. And racing didn't really have any of that. So TrackPass essentially started as a learning problem, not so much a racing problem.
Yeah, okay, brilliant. And I think one of the key things that you've identified there is in the target market that you're going after, which is sort of the youth who's getting into it. And of course, there's all these other initiatives going on. I think what I want to focus today's conversation around is specifically that sort of target market of younger people getting into something for the first time, of educating them through and sort of providing them new ways of getting there, because the old ways don't work anymore. But where I want to start things off is magic moments. So because you've been doing this for a bit, why don't you give us sort of a definition of what you see as a magic moment?
I think for me, it's like I guess I'll probably start off with my personal sort of magic moment, and then for me it was because around my birthday is the Melbourne Cup in Australia, and on that was then my dad and I watching our favorite horse kind of come through at a great price to win the Melbourne Cup, and then I'm in there kind of celebrating with him. Everyone's kind of looking at us because no one else is celebrating because they were on the winner, and then I would think about probably that moment for the rest of my life. And I'm also now have that emotional attachment to that horse and to that experience. And then so that magic moment for me, like it really kind of fostered and just further grew my own sort of like knowledge around that racing and that passion for racing. And that's when I truly kind of understood, okay, like this is what it's about. Like take away the sort of betting element from it and just the actual passion for the horse racing sort of community. For me, like now that I had understood like what it felt like and what that kind of horse went through to like kind of get to the stage to winning that, as I had kind of gone through the motions of like different losses in different races, like that created that sort of magic moment for me. So then I think that to create that sort of, foster that sort of passion into like whatever you kind of want to move it into, creating that sort of learning community, like how do we kind of get people to get there? So that's where it's like you need to have that sort of knowledge and understanding, or at least that lead up to it. So then when the magic moment does appear, it will create that, and it will help just build on that, what you're already seeing in front of you.
And on that point of when you know that magic moment does appear, how do you identify them? Like how do you know when somebody has received a magic moment? When I think on top of that, when multiple people are getting to that moment, how do you know that moment's magic?
I think for me, like knowing how it is magic is like when you kind of go through and you've gone through that steps of that sort of learning sort of development, where it's like you've started as like a novice sort of user and you've gone through like, oh, like it's like a little bit of interest. It's like, oh, I've always had an interest there, but I don't really know what it's about. And then you've kind of gone through the stages of like being built up through of like, oh, now I know a little bit more about that. Now I know a little bit more about this. And then it's that sort of aha moment of going, oh my gosh, like I get it now. Like, wow, like I want to keep growing on this. I want to expanding about it. That's the way I would kind of put it in that sense.
That's interesting. I think I remember when we were talking before this session about this topic, you also brought up that, the way that you sort of track with data when people are getting to that magic moments, there's like a few key ones, like as soon as somebody, how can you track or link when somebody books, their next session at the track, or when you can see for the first time that somebody's actively following. Can you give any insight on that?
Yeah. So like with that, I mean, like, so I guess sort of measures for success and like beyond this sort of metrics is like sort of on three things, whether that's on behavior, emotion, and then like sort of story retention. And then like, for me, like with that behavior, it's like for what TrackPass is building is like, do they complete the race day challenge, or like, and like, do they come back to the next race and use the app again? And do they follow the horse, like that specific horse they might have been assigned after that event, like at a different sort of race? And then with that emotion, it's like, are the users feeling more confident watching this race now, like based on what that sort of user patterns and what are they doing? And then with that sort of story retention, it's like, do they remember the sort of the horse, the tip, or the moment? Like that's where, because of like memory is one of the sort of like strongest indicators of the learning impact. So like if they're like that user then comes back and then selects themselves that horse from a previous race, that's how you know that sort of magic moment and the build up is leading to that, because they want to follow that horse, or they want to follow that trainer, or they want to follow that stable. So in that sort of a TrackPass regard, that's how I'd sort of measure that success, like around the sort of metrics and data there.
D, what do you got? You're on mute. D, you're on mute, D.
Press the wrong button. Thank you. Okay. Oh my gosh, I just forgot what I was going to say. No, okay. I have an online course, like maybe most of us here, or we were thinking of it, but I've had a course for a year, and I have online calls, live call. There's course, but then online live calls. And based on what you just said, Josh, like some people, once they joined one of those live calls, then they keep coming back. And that's almost a little bit like that. Oh, that now they're on, now they see the magic. I don't know if it is, but come again. But then my question now is, which maybe you would have already gotten to in the session, but can you engineer a magic moment? Like for me, I email my students in my course saying, with little snippet, like, hey, here's a 1-minute clip of how awesome the last call was. You should join the next ones. That's so great. But 80% of my students don't join the live calls, but I know how magic they are. Can you engineer the magic to make people?
Well, I think on that, I mean, for the solution for that on my side for me is like, I will have, I guess, that sort of instant sort of reward, like just for kind of signing up. Like for me, well, my sort of theory is where it's like, say if you're at the track and then you sign up, you've got like that 2 sort of free drink cards to use. And me as a younger demographic, like anyone's just going to sign up and do that at least and get on the app to get those free drinks, particularly in that demographic. Obviously a different scenario in your case, but you can see where I'm kind of building to. So then with that, like to actually complete the quest, then it's like you might get a free ticket to the next race. And that's where it's kind of building that momentum and building that satisfaction where, oh, hey, I completed this quest. Now I've got a free ticket to the next race. And then that's also creating sort of sustained sort of movement into the next race and where you're going. So in your case, to be able to sort of manufacture sort of a reason to get on that call where it's like, I know you're pushing out more like sort of text reasons, like, oh, you're going to learn about this and this, but it'd be creating that sort of like that positive incentive to join and get them on that side of your call, because then they'll obviously experience it. But to me, it's all about getting to get that user face and finish that quest first.
Yep, cool. I try to figure out how to translate that into my context. But because there's like spend 90 minutes of your time, click here to join for 90 minutes. It's a big boundary, and thinking of that little moment that you could offer an easier, what it sounds like you're.
Yeah, like let's say if it's if there's a shorter way down, or just something to get it like quick 15 minutes, where even if it's really personal, like with like a one-on-one kind of thing, that's where my brain's just going now as we're talking about it. But yeah, just to have that first sort of insight where it's like, then they go, wow, like look at this, I want more of it.
I'm trying to think, Dee, because that's a really interesting point, is how do you actually get somebody, not necessarily about the magic moment, but how do you get somebody to like arrive at the magic moment, or
Yeah.
pull them
Yeah.
into that magic moment itself? Like the one that I usually use is within my sales process, where instead of everybody their first sales meeting, they pitch slap people. They're like, here's my 20-minute demo, what do you think? And so I sort of flip that to be that first session is like a max 3-minute demo, but really it's more of a vision one. So I share a really lofty vision. And then after I've shared that lofty vision, I just ask, hey, how does that land with you? And get them to sort of be like, I'm really inspired with it, or no, don't understand, try again, that kind of thing. But a lot of people have reported back and being like, hey, that was the most unique sort of discovery session that I've ever done. And and I think the real magic moment in that is asking how it has landed with people, because once you ask them, how did that land with you? From there, they're like, now I feel involved. Now I feel like part of it. But you actually getting them to there, like getting them on the call in the first place, that's an interesting question that I don't have the answer to.
You could lie about how long it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Adrian,
5 minutes.
Adrian, have you experienced anything like that with, I know you're teaching people how to sell on Amazon, but like what would you say is your sort of first or people's first magic moment when they meet with you or talk to you?
See, I don't do this online at the moment. I don't have kind of online webinars or peer group sessions. So all of mine, it is online, most of it, but it's 1-to-1 or 1 to maybe 4 maximum. And mine is very kind of process driven. There's a way to do Amazon. It doesn't matter what part of Amazon you're thinking about, listing creation or advertising, or, using Amazon's logistics services. It's very kind of formulaic and step by step, and most people just don't know what they're doing. So it's dead easy for me. I just show them how to do it, and when they do it right, they make big. It can make a huge change to the business. It's not unusual within a few weeks to have multiple 100% increases in turnover.
That makes a lot of sense, though. There's something in that empowering people to do it for themselves, and when they're like, oh, okay, I can actually do this, then they're like, tell me more. I want to know what else I can do.
Very much. And they will share their screen, and I will talk them through how to do it, and then I'll get them to teach it back to me, so it kind of sticks. And everything's kind of recorded and transcribed, so they can refer back to it. And sometimes we have to go over it more than once, but generally, generally it sticks pretty quickly. And once they see, if I have an hour-long session with somebody, and then the next session they've done what they've supposed to have done, and it's made a big difference, then they're hooked.
Interesting. And that sort of, I guess, leads me back to Josh as well. And Josh, I don't know if you will have an answer for this, but is there any specific things that your application does to, I guess, give that or empower people to go off and start doing things themselves? Like, is there, I don't know what I should call it, if it's like a jumping off moment between where they like almost graduate from what you do on your application, or do you just keep them there and sort of keep them engaged and going for as long as possible?
Look, like the long answer there, in a sense of like, I mean, sort of my goal would be to like develop TrackPass as the people start developing with it. So obviously I'm still retaining new users, but I'm keeping them on. Like for me, that would be that best case scenario, whether like, say, as you kind of graduate from the like new, like a beginner sort of data, there'd be more sort of intermediate or advanced sort of stuff just to keep you there and using the app, because like with a sort of reward sort of framework that's involved within it, like I mean the user would still be in their best interest to just continue to using it, just for like the possibilities for those like drink cards or for like the race day experiences, where you can kind of create it more immersive than what it would be, say, if you're physically at the track, because it could just be handy if you like want to bring up and get some quick information just on a specific horse or about a horse, or like say for one thing is for me is like if you're assigned a horse and then you're getting ready to watch it, and you get a pinged a notification, your horse is saddling up, and you go to the parade now to watch it parade around, and you can see it in different sort of user interface, like, oh, watch out for this to see how confident it's feeling, or however long that way. So like for me, like it's just to make sure to have the different distinguishers between the types of data, where it's like the beginner user, the intermediate user, and then the advanced user, to take them through that journey. And then when they are at that advanced user, they still can be getting that sort of reward framework, and that's what's still kind of keeping them on the out there, like using it and interacting with it.
And so with that, and I'm sorry if I could have missed this, but how do you qualify who is a beginner, who's an intermediate, and who's an advanced? Is it just the amount of time that they spend on the app, or the amount of time, or sorry, the amount of things, new events that they go to? Like, I don't know, how do you discern that maturity?
Yeah, so like, I mean, obviously, like first easiest way, like if like one on the sign up, I will have the ability to go what type of user you are, whether that's beginner, intermediate, advanced. But obviously, the learning capabilities, like graduating through just with the different sort of immersive data you can use, like tracking sort of different user patterns and where they're kind of going to and which data they're pulling out. That's when you can see, like, obviously it will start very like, I don't want to overload with information at first, but you have the option to get more information. And then if you start tracking that user is going to like the more so intermediate sort of data there, we're leaning in a bit more, getting sort of different more information, more than like the kind of redacted, easy to understand, less jargon heavy stuff. You can see that user's kind of growing the sort of next stage of that life cycle of like what the sort of data they want to look at and the information they want to get. And then that, obviously tracking that, you can then, that's sort of live changing through sort of like AI, which sort of pings then like notifications they're going to get, as like, if you can see as the user kind of grows in the sort of different life cycle there.
Yeah, okay, interesting. And when that also leads me to my next one, or maybe it expands on my next question of recapturing disengaged users. Are you recapturing disengaged users differently based on how mature they are?
Yes, so like obviously the notification on things will be different depending on the type of user it is. But like, say for a new user, if someone's dropping off TrackPass, like TrackPass can shift the strategy to say like reduce the learning load, or like increase like the different, like maybe it needs to be heavier data if they've been a beginner user for that long and they're just kind of disinterested now because they don't need it, they need something more, or offer an easier task, or trigger a moment like I sort of said before, where it's like your horse is heading to the start, want a quick tip, or user incentives, like scan like one more checkpoint for a free drink. And then like that's where this maps to like the sort of L&D sort of best practices of like when attention kind of drops, sort of simplify it and then reward.
Interesting. Where I want to go now is I want to zoom out a bit, and I want to look at the experience as a whole. And just ask how do you create great experiences? And I want to bring up something because I think it could help, that about what you were mentioning when we were talking before about how the importance of balancing, especially with this user type, education with fun. Now that's just, I feel like you hear that a lot and it doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, oh, it's fun learning. What does that actually mean to you?
Yeah, well, like I think for me, it's like best type of learning is when you don't know you're learning. Like that's like the simple way to put it. Like because when you're like doing something and it's just that enjoyment there, like I'll put it back to like a lot of people, they go to the sort of races just for sort of social reasons. It's literally like they're kind of there just because like everyone else is there for that social experience, not because of like the interest in the sort of horse racing there. Like that's the majority of Gen people that are there for like that social aspect, or because my friend's going in there, but they don't maybe understand the horse racing to that. But if you're there at that social experience, and then the cues are there with TrackPass, kind of like they're teaching you like involuntarily, like it's telling you like as you like interact with the app, or your horse is parading around here, or your horse was acting this way, so this different sort of chances, or different sort of points there where it's just like quick sort of touch points, and then if you factor that in with like repeated use, that's where that learning will come, because you're going to those social events and you're enjoying that social side, but it's like in tandem with this sort of learning there, but it doesn't necessarily feel like learning. Maybe in your head you feel like, oh, I'm going to get a free drink out of this. Oh, I just actually wanted to know a quick thing about my horse. It's not thinking, oh, I've got to study or I've got to do this. It's creating that sort of like that fun sort of element where it doesn't feel like you're learning, but over time you will be learning.
I like that point because it's I feel like it's a lot of the time what happens is like you look at all these stats on the board, any sort of sports game you go to, you look at all the stats, and if you're new to it, you're like, okay, I got to learn what all of this means, and people start talking about the different player numbers and that, and you've got to actually understand who are those players, what are those stats that they're talking about. So that's a really interesting one. Is how do you get away from that? I guess that need to have all this knowledge and spend the time, which you don't actually want to spend all the time learning it. How do you just let it sort of come naturally? So that's fantastic. Now, look, I've got one more question before I hand over to the rest of the group if they've got any more questions, because I know you've got to sort of run it at 2:30. So my last question is, you're building this really immersive, I would say learning platform. What does the future look like?
On a sense of that, like for me, at a best case is like having users that come through and then it's creating that sort of legacy learning that I sort of experienced just through my family about horse racing, but that through the app where it's like you're going through and you use that app and then it'll create that passion, it'll create that magic moment. And then look at it as a bigger picture, to being able to apply that to every sort of sport there with different sort of fan engagement stuff. Because like for me, like when you sit there and you don't understand a sport and then someone else is sitting next to you explaining it to you, it is really still hard to comprehend. Like for me, I really started to understand NFL more when I started playing Madden, because like I was in there and I felt like I was playing a game and I was doing it that way. So to me, it's like to have that sort of, to be able to take sort of track passes ideology and what it's doing and to kind of use that on a global scale for different sort of sports there, to have that sort of engagement and that knowledge sort of platform, particularly in venue as well, to get people to the stadiums and filling them that way, driving that sort of incentive on both parties for the user, but then also for the sport itself.
That's brilliant. And real quick, do you want to share it all? I know you had some crazy ideas with using VR and AR to increase or to make the experience better. You want to share those, or?
Oh, look, like it's very. I mean, with that,
or you're not allowed to.
No, well, it's like, look, like I mean, it's like say 25 years time, and maybe we're all sitting around some massive stadium in Dubai, and we've all got our headsets on, and we're watching this game go by, and we're getting the live sort of stats or information of like the players' sort of heart rate, how fast that ball went, similarly to what like Amazon's doing now with their ball tracking on the TV, but this to more of like a live immersive view as you're watching it real time at the stands, and you get that information, that ball like flew this fast, or like this player is like a bit fatigued, might get subbed off soon, but right like in your Google glasses, Apple glasses, Metaverse, whatever it may be, but there's something like that where it's very like you're at the venue, but you're getting that stats right in front of you or whatever sort of stats you want to see. That is that 25-year crazy sort of what could happen.
There you go. Could even be, I don't know if Chris is listening, but the media stream AI glasses or goggles if he ever makes them. So there's the thing. So look, out to the floor now. Is there any questions from the floor?
I always talk a lot, so I'll give other people a chance because you've got only a few minutes, I think, Josh.
No, it's all right, Ollie. It's just I've pushed it, so it's
okay.
I'm not pressing it yet.
But did I cut off someone else who would ask then? Because I really do often dominate.
No.
Okay. I wrote down, and maybe even missed a few other things you said, because this was like a big thing for me. I wrote down that what you said: when attention drops, simplify and offer a reward. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's an L&D really basic principle, but I don't have an L&D background, so that was for me like, oh my god, whoa. And I don't track. Yeah, for me, I have an online course. I'm teaching. I teach workshop facilitation through videos and for professionals. It's not, for example, not like Adrian is like, hey, here's the how-tos, here's the guide, here's the steps, here's how you do them. I'll guide you through the steps. I hope I didn't misrepresent you there, Adrian, but it's very much more principles and foundational. I don't know. Yeah, deep learning, side topic kind of things to help you grow your profession. But And I don't track in my course completion rates of all the modules and things like that, because I don't know, it's not about that. It's about, hey, here's resources for you, and talk to me live online. But that for me still, with the thing I said before, attention dropping, like why do I only have 50 students. It's not huge, but only maybe 10 of them show up for calls. So I was just trying to apply this. Sorry, I'm rambling. This is what I was talking about. When attention drops, simplify and offer a reward. I really am thinking now, oh my gosh, I've seen people sign up for my course, did a few modules, never came back, and 9 months has passed, and I haven't really done anything to re-engage them, and I know I should.
So then that part, yeah. Well, so if it's like, for me, like just what came to my head sort of straight away is whether it's like you tell him, hey, if you're able to complete these next 3 classes or courses or however it's set up, you'll get a one-on-one with me, or something along those lines, where it's like that sort of reward if you want to, like, or if it's just simplify, you can even simplify that further. If it's like, hey, just like complete the task you were doing, and then I'm happy to jump on with you next to talk about like where you're sort of at, like, and along those sort of lines, just where it's like bring that simplicity down, where you can see those users that have maybe stopped halfway through, and then go, okay, like where can I get involved here? Is it because like did it get tricky or not? But you still need to create that reward factor to find out where the sort of choke point was.
Yeah. Okay, that's really helpful. I feel like Adrian has something to add.
Yeah, only just on a bit of a sidestep, but on a related topic. I'm a bit of a gamer on my phone. I play these silly kind of games. The one I'm playing at the moment is Forge of Empires, where you kind of start off in a Bronze Age and you progress.
Yeah, I'm a gamer too.
Yeah, and it is the most. It's had the most longevity out of any game I've ever played, and I realised why.
Why?
It's because a lot of the other games, you kind of do all the little side things and the tasks, and each one gets a little reward, and then they feel good. But then you get to a certain point, and they just stop doing them.
It's monotonous, and you do the same things over and over again.
Yeah, or even they just stop doing it because you've got so far into the game, you think, well, we don't need to bother with you anymore. We'll just focus on the newbies. Whereas this one, I've been playing it for probably a year and a half, and it just keeps going, and there's always something to keep you going, and little kind of gamified tasks, and I mean, they give you nothing. It's not giving me money.
Yeah.
Being that little kind of dopamine hit, every time, oh, great, I'm a good boy, I've done it. And it just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. And I think there's a lot of parallels with that, with, trying to keep people engaged in courses. Even if it's, little badges, you've done this, well done. You've been on for 5 hours, get a gold star. You've been on for 10 hours, get a whatever. And just giving them little kind of rewards, I think there's a lot to be said for it.
Yeah. As healthy or as unhealthy as those dopamine hits. Yes, that was making me think something I could do with all the free time that I have to make all these things. Like after my course has 9 modules, so it could be like after I don't even have quizzes at the end, or like some complete, like, did you learn this? Like, let's do a quiz, because they're all busy professionals. Like been doing this stuff for 10 years already, and I'm like, I don't want to bother them. I'll just let them do it if they want. But I really could have tying together what Adrian and Josh both said, like after the first 3 modules, which are all kind of follow on from each other, then a little personal video going like, it's so cool. What did you think? I hope you like that. I don't, if you're, here's, as your reward, like, here's a little button where you can have a free one-on-one call with me if you wanted to like chat about anything from those first 3 modules, or what you're working on right now, or something. Like, could be that little. And then they're like, oh, what's going to happen if I do the next 3 modules? Something like that. I don't know. Yeah. Cool. This is really helpful.
No, I like it. Dee, there's one more idea that came to my mind as well. People are dropping off at a certain thing because there's heaps of, like, if they're dropping off early, within when they're still going through the modules, I wonder, and you said before, they're all busy professionals. I wonder if there's a way that you can simplify, like Josh was saying, and I don't know what the reward would be, but if you could put it together and maybe release a short intensive, or bring them onto a call for a day and run through all the modules with them as part of an intensive. And it's like one shot, you get through all of them, then you're already live with them. It's a big thing. It might take you time, but then you're already live with them once, and you can bring them back in.
Oh my God, that's actually a really good idea. Because I could, yeah, it really could, that could be a big, something big that I offer is like, you signed up a while ago, you haven't done the course, you don't have to, it's all just resources there for you. But if you want to just get through this, we'll go through it all live together on this special day. Sign up if you want to
More
get
intensive.
studies
You
and
can do like
have
a
it be
special
able to
offer
make
then.
yeah, and
Like
do it live.
buy a ticket, do the intensive. It's also like a mastermind where everybody's working and learning together. I don't know. Maybe that will work.
That's a really good idea. That would take a lot of time and planning. Thanks very much, Ola. That's really great.
There you go.
People would love that, I think. I think people would love that because I would love that. I'm a busy professional who might sign up for something and then be like, I want to watch Netflix instead. I can't do my coursework tonight. But book me in for a day in a few weeks and I'll come. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
makes sense. Like, yeah, you get home from a big day, you seriously want to jump on and do another
my
3 lessons or whatever. Like, it's important, but I thought we all stopped doing that at university. That was for the last time, and now, anyways. Any other questions, Thomas? Do you have anything?
No, just I can't emphasize enough how important gamification is in learning. My most intensive learning periods have always been playing games.
Yeah.
There's a reason why kids instinctually want to play games. It's how they learn. And we're no more than just big kids.
Makes
Do you have
sense.
any
It's
example
like,
of? Sorry.
Oh, you go ahead, Dave.
Thomas, do you have an example of something that was specifically educational that had great gamification rather than a game like Adrian described it? Like, sorry to put you on the spot, but
I don't think it's been done well yet.
yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
It's a shame. Like, have any of you guys heard of the game Path of Exile or Path of Exile 2? No. Game with lots of very complex and intricate mechanisms. You're an adventure that you just go through the world, and the items interact with other items, stats interact with other stats. You need I did a degree in games production, and I kid you not, I've spent more time understanding the intricacies and the mechanics of this game than the entire educational course in games production actually had in terms of technical depth. Like, there are whole wikis that these communities build up explaining all the technical nuance, and the game designers incentivize, or it's like game design pushes you to go out and just do this research. Naturally, you don't even realize you end up doing it. And then I actually pause and think, okay, what the hell am I doing? I have a notepad here. I have all these pages open. I think I'm not on the spectrum. I might be. But I'm learning at such an intense level in a way that I typically associate academics do, but I'm doing it out of free will for a game I enjoy. And there are certain things I want to achieve in life as well. I'm just wondering, is there a way to get those things brought to you in a gamified way? Because at that point, you don't need to motivate people. They'll just instinctively want to finish the course without even having to think about it.
Or even that part of when, people get so into it that they create their own wikis on things you can do, and I guess, well, that sort of brings us back to the community discussion as well, is how do you build that community that starts not just consuming the content, but creating it as well?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah,
That might be a good topic for one of the upcoming Lonely Fox sessions, is how do you really apply gamification? Maybe we can, Thomas, if you know anybody in the space, get somebody who actually builds games to see if they can shed some insight. That might be a real interesting one.
I mean, I build games, but I've never thought about it in the context of learning.
Would you give us a question on that? I will cancel all my plans to come to that one.
There you go, Purple Plane.
Yeah.
I'll have a think about it. So I've never thought about it from this way. Yeah, I'll have a think about it. Maybe the next Lonely Fox session or the one afterwards, I'll do a talk on gamification.
Perfect.
And how to create positive psychological feedback loops.
That'd be really useful, yeah. Can I ask a totally different question? What are you feeling? What's everybody's feelings about having 2 levels of content? Free content to pull people in, and then a subscriber content level. because I've always been thinking of, you know, building the, when we eventually get off the marks with this, because we're hopefully going to be doing the full immersive Fox AI course building thing, when I can get the powers that be to fund it. But I'm getting pulled in two different directions. The people that are funding it, they want to just get people paying, you know, from the get-go. But there's a lot of stuff out there, people like Daniel Priestley, companies like Talk.to, you know, the chatbot people, where they give it away to 90% of their customers. You know, it's the biggest chatbot in the world now, and they've built it on, giving it away for free, knowing that a certain small percentage of people will need it enough to pay for it. So there's an option where the course that I'm building, I give away some of it for free, and then that drags people in, gets all the footfall in, and then a certain number of those get cross-sold into the paying platform. What are your thoughts on that?
Have you heard of a guy called Charlie Morgan?
No, I must admit, I haven't.
He runs an online community scaling businesses and brands, helping people effectively build their own agency. And an incredibly extensive course, 6 weeks of training. Each training module is 3 to 5 hours long. And he's very transparent up front. He says that he's designed this whole course to help you make money and get to the point where you will need my services later down the line.
Okay. And he gives it away for free?
Gives it away for free. It's to get people from the point of not having a business to having a business that's revenue generating, but they will run into shortfalls that they will then need his services later down the line. So he's monetizing his own customers, which is incredibly interesting.
Yeah.
And so he has that 2-tier level of education.
What do you think, Dave?
Off mute. Hormozi also, you made me think of. Alex
Hormozi, yes, another good name.
Has this model, and says very directly, like, I'm giving away stuff worth thousands, millions, whatever, and with the goal that your business will be so successful that you'll then pay me to whatever. I think, yeah. Adrian, this question has been on my mind since I made my course just over a year ago. Got launched before I was in this community, and I'm using a community platform called Circle, maybe heard of.
Circle, yeah.
And that's one of the things they do well, and other community platforms or other platforms do this, like what's it called, the separate where there's a
free tier,
gateway, yeah. And they really push, like I get emails from them going, hey, you should do this, you should do this, you should do this, maybe because that feature costs more money or whatever. But I also work with the last company I worked for was very, very successful with, I worked there and made online courses for them as an employee. I was teaching, and they got big by just doing like a YouTube video every day, and they're just like YouTube video every day for our target audience before they then make now 100 grand a month on course sales, something like that. And one of my old colleagues from there that I'm now working with, he's my video marketing kind of guy that's helping me with my course. And he keeps telling me, like, this model absolutely does work. Go for the big distribution, offer lots of valuable content. We're making YouTube videos and other things. So, like, we're even thinking this week, maybe for Black Friday, changing my whole course model to actually give the whole course material away, all of those 9 modules with all these videos and downloadable resources, do exactly what it sounds like. What's the guy's name you just said?
Charlie Morgan?
Yes, Charlie Morgan. Give this whole course away for free, and then have the paid thing be that more interactive live coaching, live calls, live things, or other. Like,
will your existing paying clients react to that?
Pardon? Well, I just won't change anything for them. Yeah, which would suck a bit for them. Like, well, I paid you good money for all this stuff, but I don't feel too terrible. It's only 50 people, and they've had the whole course for a year, and they've had all this other content, this valuable stuff free. I don't know. I'll talk to them.
I've done that for a client before as an offer campaign, where we had one tier that was $250 a month, one tier that was $1,000 a month, and then there was a few tiers that was above that. $250 a month, lots of people joined, barely anybody actually showed up or did anything. They were just like dead weight. And we're like, all right, people, as soon as they went to the 1,000 a month, they'd be on every call. They would come to everything. They would be actively asking questions and building their own content within the community to try and, get additional help and things like that. And so we took that $250 one and we just said to everybody, like, hey, your option is you can upgrade or you can continue to get the content. We'll like end your membership, but you get the content for free. And then we ran off a campaign on part of the free content and then drove them down into the funnel. So that's like one way that I've seen it work where, and if you do it, we did it where we released each episode as an email over a week and a half. So that way people got really used to opening our emails and that dopamine response to receiving free value. So that whenever we sent them a new offer email, we knew it was going to get opened and it was going to get read. The other way that we've tried to do it, that I tried to do it for a different client, which I think it worked a little, it didn't work as well, but we made more money out of it, was similar concept, except we just sold it as a one-time payment starter pack. And so we're like, here's like 4 really important documents and the entire first 3 modules, one-time payment, $250 starter pack, go your hardest. That generated heaps of revenue, I think, or it generated revenue off of that portion. I think that the free one worked better because it got them in the door and used to us providing them value. And then when they were ready, they went on. Whereas the 250 got less people in the door at the start. But because they had already committed and paid money for it, they started converting at about the same rate.
Guys, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go. I've got to take my daughter.
Are you good? Thanks for joining, Adrian.
On the next.
See you around.
See you soon.
I heard something recently that my video marketing guy, that also maybe Adrian will want to hear this in the recording, is that another very popular, I can't remember her name now, person who sells does web design stuff, is her thing. And she's got that, like, I give you everything, all the videos that you can watch for free, all of the learnings there, but then you pay for my one-on-one stuff at a very high price. But something that she said, if you're interested in her name, I'll figure it out and put it in the community, but that the value of information has completely changed in this last couple of years because of AI. Because when we need information, it is at our fingertips. And obviously the internet, but AI has really changed that value. So for my course, people paying $1,200 just for the information, someone could type into ChatGPT and get the information, even if it wouldn't be as good, or they would have to do the work to maybe get the perception of the value of information has changed. And to Adrian's question, that the way that she proposes now, and it's working for her, and she's now earning just as a young web developer is earning like close to $1 million a year, just selling the add-ons to giving away all of her content for free, and then charging $80 for a web dev template or web design template, and $1,000 for a 2-week program with her. And like, she's just like, oh, cool.
There you go.
That whole model of people aren't going to pay you the big bucks just for the information anymore. They're just far less likely to. But if you give them there was a word she used, give the information for free, and the playbook, like I do it with you, or this is your cheat sheet, do these steps and it will work, with the templates and the execution. Information has lost its value. The execution is now the valuable thing, or the ability to do the execution, like just do all of these steps, is the thing that we should be selling rather than the video content. I don't know how you feel about that, Oliver.
No,
Yeah.
I love it. That's exactly what I mean. Like I know Thomas said something, but like, just real quick, yeah, that's exactly what I sort of preach, is share insights for free And
Yeah.
then when somebody actually wants you to do something, you sell it. Like
Yeah.
sell the execution insights for free, because insights just bring people closer in. They provide unlimited value for people to do it. But I think the missing one there, which isn't talked about enough, is, and what I've found to be super successful, is encouragement. So like give the insights, encourage that you could probably do this yourself if you really wanted to and if you really had the time. And when they realize that they don't really have the time or they're unable for some other reason, they'll come for the execution.
Yeah.
But I digress. Thomas, you raised your hand real quick.
No, I completely agree with you. It's all about framing now. If you can lay out a framework for people to follow to then get the outcome, that's what's incredibly valuable and what people are willing to pay a lot of money for. The knowledge itself, the individual components of that framework, anyone can find them. But laying them out in a way that results in success, that's what people will spend money on. But no, I completely agree with you.
Cool. And it's not, you're agreeing with, her name was Anna or Hannah or something. I can't
Well,
remember.
if you find the name, throw it in the community there, and then we can all sort of get around it. But look, I'll close this one off because we're a bit over now. So Josh, thank you so much for jumping on today and sharing that with us. It was very insightful. We appreciate you being here.
Not a problem at all. Appreciate you having me. It was good, insightful, just to verbalize some of the stuff I was saying as well, just to get it out there and get the feedback, which what D and like the gamification stuff with what Thomas was saying as well was quite insightful. I'm keen for that next one you set up, Ollie. I'll have to get the invite to it if you get that one going.
Will do. I'm keen to see when I get to put on some Ray-Ban glasses and go to a footy game and see in real time how high the heart rates of those players, because they've got to be pretty high. Anyways, all right. Well, we'll see you all within the community and next week or wherever you show up.
Yeah. Thanks
I'm
a lot,
glad that
guys.
we're ending this with I'm glad we're ending this with Aussie domination as well.
Aussie, that's exactly what I was just going to say. Aussies are dominating. Thanks, everyone. See you soon in the next one.
See you guys all.
See you later. Bye.
See you guys. Bye.